Here we are here.
Hear we. Everyone gather around.
Oh my god, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay.
Okay, today we're here to talk. Oh, we need to talk about the Fabelman.
That was so butchered. Okay. Yeah, here we are. Um, so what did you think?
What would you rate it?
Okay, if I'm just being honest, I would probably rate it like a 7.9
Okay,
to 8.
fair.
What would you rate it?
Okay, this is so weird because personally, I'd give it a different rating than I would
Yeah,
logically.
that's like how I feel.
Personally, I'd give it a 9.
Wow. Okay.
Logically, I'd give it an 8.2.
Okay.
And to be honest, if someone told me that it was 7 out of 10, I wouldn't be shocked. It wouldn't like surprise
Yeah.
me. But yeah, I think I
So
like
what
it a lot for what feels to me like no reason.
I was gonna ask you, like, what struck a chord so hard that your personal, in your own little brain would be a 9 out of 10.
Um I thought that it was really cute that it was like almost this homage to his family,
Yeah.
and it was just it was so personable. Like it was
Yeah.
just something really like his own family, his own life.
Yeah.
But through that lens, it was almost like a documentary almost lens,
Mhm.
because from that lens, it brings a lot of layers. Like cuz it has a ton of messages inadvertently, like
Yeah.
life understandings, parental dynamics,
Mhm.
like there's a lot of different things that you wouldn't even have to write into a fictional script to get this message across, because
Right.
you're seeing this happen in your own family, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, so the ratings, I mean, are pretty accurate. It has an 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, and an 82% on Fandango. Well, that's what it's saying on Google. So, yeah, I mean, your 9 out of 10 wasn't that far off.
What did you think?
I thought it was very cute, precious. I mean, there were some heavier moments in it, and I just think like the way that it was directed was really cute.
Mhm.
It was cute. I had some like giggles.
Mhm.
It's not like it's a feel good movie kind of, so it's not gonna like rock your world. You know what I'm saying? It's like not that type of movie.
I thought the acting, and I'm gonna say specifically, this is not the only person, but Michelle Williams, I don't know what level she's on to be doing the type of acting that
When
she's
did she
doing.
go wrong?
I
Like never.
never,
I
but
know. She's so good.
rewatching her again, and I've always been jaw dropped by her performances in
Mhm.
almost everything, like in almost everything I've seen.
Yeah.
But I was reminded today that this bitch has subtle looks. She
Yeah.
has 12 different emotions in one face to express what
Yeah.
one person is thinking or
I
feeling.
know. She does that so
And
well.
she played this person. I don't know this woman, but at least this character of what is
Right.
his mom so well. Such a complex person in general.
Mhm.
Nailed it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I think she did so good.
I mean, so good to the point that I wouldn't even say this is. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say if it's the best female performance of the year, but I
Yeah.
think it's up there. Like, I would be surprised if she didn't get nominated for
Yeah.
something. I'd be
I think she did
surprised.
really good. I thought this is just so random, but I think that the young Sammy and the older, you know, teenage version, they look identical. I couldn't believe it.
What? You thought? I literally thought
I
that
thought they
they were
looked like
nothing
twins.
alike because the kid had bright blue eyes.
Okay. And
It was
yeah,
mostly that
no,
for
okay,
me.
I get that. And I think that, like, I don't know why they wouldn't like CGI that because they made the older one wear contacts. And that was very obvious to me throughout the whole film because they did like a lot of like shots like in the eyes and they were so obviously brown contacts.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just think that they had like the same look, like those eyelashes, the eyes that are, you know,
I don't know. What did you say in whisper?
like Jackie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought Paul Dano did also a good job. Okay, I'm gonna start like diving into the movie by saying that his family, like, um, his life, his childhood life,
Hmm.
no offense, but it wasn't that bad.
Oh my God. Yeah. I
And
mean,
like
I
I was
totally
thinking because like
agree.
I saw like okay, I get what you guys are talking about when you're like this is the trauma of divorce. I really
Yeah.
did. This was actually one of the first
Hmm.
times that I didn't eye roll at like you're
Yeah.
lucky that that's like the worst thing to happen to you.
Right.
But
Right.
this time I really saw like okay, this
The
is
complexities of,
traumatic. Yeah, like
you know.
for real. Like especially cuz the reason why I think it's never hit me that hard of why divorce is such a trauma is because I didn't have these two loving parents that are like so in love and they're both great and I want them
Hmm.
both in the house and they're both so loving and
Hmm.
supportive. So the fact that they were to split up and I have to go somewhere else or they have to go somewhere
So
else,
must.
then it's like then I can understand that that's traumatic.
Hmm. Yeah. I definitely can understand that it was traumatic. And I thought the whole thing was sad. I think it like made it extra sad to me because the mom was going to go back to Phoenix
Hmm.
and they were going to, well, at least Sammy was going to stay in California, obviously, with the dad. And I think that that would be really hard to have parents that are in two separate states. If
Totally.
you've been with them since you're like in high school or middle school, whatever.
And also the other thing about this is they didn't have a typical toxic parental relationship in terms of abuse where
Yeah.
it's like oh my god please get divorced because this is
Mm,
like a nightmare coming home every day when you're
right.
fighting and throwing things or
Right.
domestic violence whatever. They were both like really sweet so it was like
Hmm.
oh no please don't like don't destroy this family because they
Yeah.
did have a happy put together
And I
family.
totally saw how you could be really shook by finding out your mom is literally cheating on your dad with your dad's best friend.
Hmm.
How that would rock your whole world at like in the middle of high school. Like I could just imagine.
Dead ass. And what the fuck do you think of
Mhm.
Benny? I'm
I,
gonna say all of these things as if these are all characters, because I know these are
okay.
real people, but
Yeah. Um I mean I think Benny is so shady.
yeah.
Like
On top of it being his best fucking
right.
friend,
I mean I don't
who's
know how you
lived
could do
with
that.
him in several places.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Who does
I
that?
know. I really agree. I think it was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Period.
Like,
Like
dead ass. And like I don't know if they're still together or whatever. And I don't know if I don't know how this would make it worse, but I don't know if it being Seth Rogen also made it worse.
okay. That's
I
interesting.
don't think it would because he's so like likable and he's like
I
funny,
know, but I
but
think that's what is kind of like almost irritating about it is that he's so likable to everybody and he just
yeah.
did this
And
horrible act.
even in this movie, he was so
Hmm.
likable to the kids
I
and
know. And he bought him
funny.
that camera
Yeah, and he's fucking his mom.
fully.
I mean hard.
Oh, God. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, okay, I did think, yeah, Benny's specific. I feel like Sammy, grown up, still hasn't fully, like, moved past his resentment of Benny, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But obviously, as you get older, you just got to move on with life. Oh my gosh, it's so funny because the train
Yeah.
in the movie.
Hmm.
That scene
Um,
was so
it
cute.
was. It was actually unbelievable.
Okay,
It
and
was
this is what I want
heartwarming.
to touch upon is I thought it was so like if you notice any like artist in real life, their parents, they at least have one parent that is so supportive of the art.
Hmm.
Like they really let them go full force into it and obviously he had that with his mom.
Yes, and
And
thank
I
God
feel like
for it.
that's like so essential to the artists of the world.
I wanna circle back to that, but there was something else I noticed in this movie, which was again an inadvertent message because it was just
Mhm.
saying like a true story. But when he was starting to get bullied at school, his parents were going through this divorce. He's like, I'm not making movies anymore. He doesn't give a
Mhm.
shit. He's like almost going through a teenage depression,
Mhm.
like he's depressed. He doesn't fucking feel like doing shit.
Right.
Okay. It was almost like again, your life is so blessed that like that almost was the depths of it because
Mhm.
for a lot of people it's like I don't even have time to think about like making shit or
Right.
doing any of these like even picking the camera back up because shit's just getting worse. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just getting worse as the days go on
Mhm.
and life is just getting harder the older I get.
Yeah.
And he was just really fortunate to have, despite the divorce, still his parents are both so like loving towards
Mhm.
him.
Financially supportive, like
Yes.
everything. And obviously that camera equipment is super expensive.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, and
there's like
even that too.
rarely any children that are going to be given film cameras like that. Like film is barely
Yeah,
not a thing at this
for
time.
real, for
Like
real,
that
for
was a
real.
big deal and it was just like skimmed over. Like that's really just normal
Yeah, like
almost.
here's your first and here's your second
Mhm.
camera. And again, like this is not to shit on Steven because
No,
I
not
feel
at
like
all.
it's like it might be coming off
I
that
mean,
way. I'm
if
not
anything,
trying to
it's
say that.
respect to the parent.
Yes, it really is an admiration
Yeah,
almost entirely to the parents, like
right.
completely, that you put your child in such a safe position of the world. You gave them like an personally like an equal opportunity from your standpoint of what you could
Yeah.
do.
Just so supportive. And even though he kind of like, you know, the dad wasn't as supportive, like he wanted him to get a normal job.
Hmm.
He didn't really like the fact that he was so into film
Yeah.
because they said, there's scientists in this family, like, and then there's the artist.
Hmm.
And he really didn't like that Sammy was not into the science aspect, but he still was so supportive. And I think that's like, it can
Huge.
be kind of like ignored throughout the film. Like his mom
Yeah.
was artist and he, had all this special connection to her almost. But
Right.
this dad really
He
did
was
a
a good
lot.
dad. I
He was a
mean, he
good dad.
literally had two good parents. It's
No,
almost
he
simply
really did.
that. Like,
I mean,
seriously.
his mom like had her issues, but she was still like so supportive in ways like, she's a little neurotic.
Yeah, but like it made her so special,
Yeah.
as a person.
She was like really authentic.
Yes, I loved her.
Mhm.
Even with her chaos, loved
And
her.
her little cheating. And she felt so bad
She
when she hit
did.
him and she just like gave him a
Oh my
slap on the
God.
back.
I was
Okay.
I was thinking about that too because that was nothing. And no offense, but okay, I'm gonna say Sammy in this movie
Mhm.
because I don't know what happened in real life.
Right. And
But there were quite a few times in the movie when Sammy was dead ass being disrespectful.
I
And maybe
know.
he did have a right to be, but he was. And he really like got up in her face.
I know.
Like I mean like I thought he was gonna fucking hit her.
I
Like
know.
it was something so crazy because I don't know, there was this like domination over his own
I
mom.
know.
that I hardly ever see. Because remember, you're a kid. Like, just keep
Right.
that in
And he's in
mind.
high school.
You're a little, like, you're a teenage boy. This is your
Yeah.
mother who has way more life
Mhm.
experience than you, you know?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, just that little slap, like, whatever. I don't remember that scene exactly, but it
I mean, he yelled at
it
her.
felt
He was
like he
screaming at her
deserved it. I
at
can't, like,
breakfast. It was right before his swim
yeah, he's like, I'm not
thing.
eating your dirty shit, like
Yeah.
your fucking eggs. I'm gonna get cramp.
Yeah.
Something like
He was
that.
just so mad at her. And then she was like, "You have been disrespectful to me for weeks," and
Hmm.
slapped him on the back on the way out.
On the back
Like
too.
that's was big for me
In a
because we've
lot
all gotten slapped across our faces, like our heads. Like, come on now.
and not only that, but typically in movies, that big scene where the parent accidentally slaps the kid and they put their
Hmm.
hand on their mouth 'cause they didn't mean to,
Yeah.
it's usually like a face.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God,
They can't
like,
even believe it.
you're back, bruh.
I
You
know. And
know?
he like ran and cried and then showed her. And it was really like it broke my heart, her sitting in the closet and
Oh
seeing
my
that
God.
video that he,
Heartbreaking.
because like okay, let's just take Benny out of this.
Okay.
Like, pretend it's not Benny because we have beef with him. But like, seeing her, for her, that's kind of what she's feeling is the love of her life. And it's like these beautiful moments, but it's also the amount of guilt and like horrible feelings she has towards herself that her son has like videotaped all of this, that they
Hmm.
were acting like that on the camping trip, the family camping trip, and she's been keeping this secret and all of those emotions.
Hmm. Was Benny sus to you from the beginning?
Yes.
Me too. I think they made it that way
Well,
though.
because I think the first dinner that they had together, the mom, he was telling a story, Benny
Hmm.
was, and the mom was goo goo gaga all in his little face, like, you know,
Hmm.
giving him hard eyes really bad. And, the dad grabbed her hand and was kind of like, you could see it building up. Like there's something there, and the dad
Yeah.
is really oblivious to it in this moment. But it was just a little tiny detail.
Okay, back to that scene where she's watching her affair on her son's movie. When they shut the closet and she's like watching it, I really loved how they first showed like I mean, you knew what she was gonna watch,
Hmm.
but they didn't go back and forth between the
Yeah.
scenes. They just kept zooming in on her face and it
Hmm.
feeling a wave of like 30 different
I know.
things
That's what I was
for
trying to
like a
say.
period of like 45 seconds.
Hmm.
Great camera work. Great
Yeah.
directing, I think, you know.
Hmm.
Did he direct this? Of course
He
he did,
did. It's
right?
that at the very end.
Okay, yeah. Cuz I think he had a like co-screenwriter with it,
Yeah.
so I just got confused for a sec.
Hmm.
A scene that I thought was really funny when she's doing her very free dance and her daughter comes and starts
Yes.
dancing in front of her to block
It
her.
was so cute.
It
And then
was
it was
so
just such a
cute.
good scene.
I know. And honestly, when her mom died, that was heartbreaking.
It
It was
was.
heartbreaking,
I know.
genuinely. And then her grief after it, and then even what's it called? When she was being played this camping video
Hmm.
to cheer her up, not the bad one.
Hmm.
It was so cute, like her
I
being so
know.
happy like before this and so free and silly, like how she
Yeah.
usually is.
Hmm.
Okay, Michelle like did so much for me
I
in this
know.
movie. Like she really did.
Mm.
Don't you think?
Completely.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. She knocked it out of the park. You said you liked Sammy, older Sammy. You thought he did a good job?
I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
I don't think I really touched upon it,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I think he did a good job. It wasn't like, I think for who he's playing,
Mhm.
it's probably super accurate
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
totally. And
So
it's
I can't
interesting
knock him.
because he wasn't like what you would call the coolest guy in town. And he moved to this school late. So like
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors into that, but he also when he was picked on, he was also like kind of like a smartass. Like he didn't want to take
Yeah.
anyone's bullshit, you know.
Mhm.
And he ended up being way more
Mhm.
successful than
And I wonder
everyone
if
at that
that's
fucking
like a
school.
little change that like maybe didn't happen.
You think?
I don't
I
know.
was thinking, I bet Logan is watching this shit. Logan was such a fucking freak, like really bad, and so is his friend.
Okay, Logan's the big
Yeah.
jock.
Hmm.
He was so weird in the way that he talked.
He was so weird,
There
and
was so many
I'm still
things.
not understanding his breakdown. Because at first he's like, "Why'd you make me like? Why'd you do that if I was mean to you?" But then it felt like it took a different path.
I know.
It was bizarre, and he was
He
on the
lost me.
ground crying
I
and
know.
smashing shit. Like,
I think he was trying to say like the message behind it was that he already felt this immense pressure of trying to live up to being the coolest, the smartest, like the most athletic, like in this whole school.
hmm
And this video really drove that home, but it was already something that he couldn't keep up with because he's dumb. He's not like
hmm
really there and he's already faking it so hard. And that just created more pressure for him to. I think that's what I got from it. And
okay,
I'm just
that
going to
makes
leave it there.
sense.
I
That makes
mean,
sense.
you know, I
Um,
think it changed how he saw, Sammy.
yeah.
And obviously, he had respect for him after that, which
What did you think of Sammy's girlfriend?
that bitch was crazy.
Again, like, is this another person who's gonna watch this?
I
Like,
know
I was the first person to date Steven
her
Spielberg.
jaw is gonna drop. No, the thing is that she probably has already told everybody in her life.
I
I was
know.
the first person to date him. Then
So
they're
they're
gonna
all
watch
gonna
this
know
movie and they're gonna be like, "This bitch
this is
was
you.
wild."
Yeah. Okay, so the thing is, at first she was wild. I
Mhm.
agree. She was like too much. But then they got
She was
like
so funny though. I mean,
she
there
was.
was no harm in it.
There was something where she also wasn't like uptight at the
Yeah,
same time, and she also what like she just kind of support his directing
yeah,
shit. Yeah, I can borrow my dad's camera, and she dropped the yogurt to make it
yeah,
look like bird shit.
yeah.
And something else too.
I
Yeah,
thought the
no, they were
relationship was
cute.
really
They got
cute.
cute.
I thought their relationship was really cute, and she was just being realistic
Oh
when she
yeah.
was. I mean, I
I
think
was more talking about the beginning.
she didn't really need to throw the fit at prom and do all that, but yeah, I mean, he was crazy for like doing
I
all
don't
that.
know. She almost, could have had all those bags.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
just a fact.
she did look for him though. Remember, she went back after the video played and she tried to find him.
He's gone.
Are are we sure? Like,
She went to Texas A&M and she made it clear.
okay, for sure. I was gonna say, like, does he have a wife?
I'm sure. You finding out?
I'm finding out. He has 6 kids.
Holy shit.
That's hilarious.
Does he have a wife?
It like doesn't say. Let me see. Spouse. Hate Capshaw. 1991.
Present?
Okay, and then yeah. And then there
Holy
was one
shit.
before that, Amy Irving.
Wow. Well, I guess it wasn't meant to be with that other woman
Yeah,
because he seems happily married forever for before I was born.
he really is. And he is 75 years old. And let me just say, for a 75-year-old directing, I mean, you've been making movies since the 40s,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, because he was like a little kid.
The 40s. Oh, shit.
I guess it's
Okay.
probably not the 40s, maybe like the early 50s. But He's 75 and still out here making films.
Taking
I
him
mean, do
out.
you know, like, it just seems like it would take a lot as a director to, that's a lot of energy to be making
Hmm.
films
Hmm.
at 75 years old. You know, I think about like our grandparents,
Oh yeah.
our
I'm
grandmas.
tired.
Like, I could never expect them to like
I
make
know.
this big film. And
That's
so,
really cute.
respect.
And it makes it cuter. Like, because I don't know how many more he'll do.
I know, right? That's
And
what I'm
if this
saying.
is like nearing the end of his film career, that's a really cute.
Note to leave it
I mean, it's
on.
really wholesome. Like,
Hmm.
it is wholesome.
I know. I think it was great.
And I'm glad his family got to see it if they're,
Well, I'm
you
sure
know.
his parents are
You think?
RIP.
You think?
I mean, they're like what, 95
I don't know.
or
Because I
older?
feel like I saw them not that long ago. That's the only reason why I said that. Because I did see his mom, and I thought
Really?
she is like, that's the reason why I felt like Michelle Williams did so good because she was
No
really
way.
what?
Okay. I looked up his parents and it said Steven Spielberg's parents found each other years after their divorce. Spielberg's mom, Leah, and his father, Arnold, married other people after their divorce and outlived their spouses. Before they died, Leah in 2017 and Arnold in 2020, the two reconnected. So they
Yeah. Okay.
reconnected
See,
as like
I'm
really
because I
older.
was watching his documentary on HBO, and they were sitting there together.
Hmm.
So I assumed that they had stayed. Like I didn't know what happened, but that's very interesting of a
Yeah.
story.
But they did pass away, obviously, in
They did.
2017 and 2020.
That's not too long ago. That's so
And,
sad.
this is probably
That makes
his
sense. I
last.
know. That is that is sad.
I
That
know.
is heartbreaking. Who passed away in 2017? The mom or the dad? Or does it not say?
Um, the mom in
Oh
2017,
no.
the dad in 2020.
Oh man. They were real ones. For real. Good parents. Good
I
parents.
know. That's very cute.
It's so cute. I'm telling you. That's why I was like trying to say like I personally felt like if we had at certain judging things they have those papers where you hold up the number
Hmm.
of your score.
Yeah.
I would hold up a 9. Like if I like
Yeah.
was sitting and watched this movie, I wouldn't hold up an 8.
Hmm.
Even if it seems more logically correct, I would have to like after watching it, it really just warmed my heart. It
Yeah.
did. It hit me on a different level. Like it just felt like it hit deeper.
It did. It was really sweet.
I thought so too. What did you think of the ending?
Um, I'm trying to go back in my brain.
He was like at the office.
Okay, was that the ending?
That
That
was
was
the
like the
ending. And
ending
then
of
he
the
just kind of
endings.
walked out.
Oh yeah. Okay. I thought it was really cute. I mean, I
You
wish I
did.
could see like almost like it
More?
was further away because it was only 1 year later.
I know.
And if it was maybe like 5 years or something, we saw him working on Jaws or something
See,
crazy.
the thing is that I knew that this was gonna be over 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Within the first 20 minutes of the movie, or probably at least the first 30, we've already gone from him being a kid to
Mhm.
him being a teenager.
Right.
So I thought with all this time that's left, maybe we'll even get to see like young adult or him like getting into
Yeah.
this business. And I was interested in seeing that. I was
Yeah, that's
hoping
what
that
I
I would
was
see that.
like
And I
hoping for.
didn't. I still have no clue like what happened after this.
Right.
It's such a question mark.
It is. I mean, I guess you could just
Look it
watch his
up.
documentary or look it up your damn self. But it
Yeah.
would have been cute to see.
It would have.
I would have liked to see it.
Me
But it's
too.
not my life. It's not my movie. So
It's not
I
our
need to
life, it's our
shut the
movie.
fuck up
Yeah. Shut up.
with their stupid ass opinion.
Yeah, fuck our stupid opinions. It ended perfect. You saw how at the end the camera like almost fell or like
Mm-mm.
lifted up slightly?
Oh, was that the Horizon thing?
I don't know. I was gonna ask you what do you think that was? It
I
clearly
didn't
was
really.
intentional. Like if it was a fuck up, they would have reshot
Well,
it.
yeah, I doubt it. I don't know.
I don't know
Because
either.
he told him that little thing about the Horizon.
And that's the other thing too, is like that Horizon thing was so cute
I
that
know.
I wish I saw more of his behind the
I
scenes
wish
little
we knew
conversations.
who that director was.
Yeah, I'm sure like people who know those
Right.
movies know exactly
But
who
that
it
must have
was.
been a really big moment.
Oh yeah. I can't imagine. That's like if I got called in or like got to go sit in this room. I don't even know who this is,
Tarantino.
and there's just Inglorious Bastards on the wall, Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
Hateful. I'm like, oh no way, you
Mm,
know?
yep.
He was stoked. I mean stoked.
And this guy was scary.
It was scary. It scared me.
That cigar.
Not
It was
iPad.
so
Who the
long.
fuck is that?
I know.
I wish we knew. I guess it doesn't really matter that
It really
much.
does not matter because he was from like the 50s. So,
His movies were super old.
yeah, wouldn't make a difference
But I think
anyways.
one of them on the wall was like that kind of Western movie that he had done with his
Oh,
friends.
really?
I'm pretty sure.
That would make
The like
sense.
last poster that they showed us.
Hmm.
What did you think of all of his childhood movies?
I thought they were so cute. Like, honestly, he was really smart. Like, not many people can just pick up a camera
Mm-hmm.
and be able to create something seriously.
For real.
And he was really making little works of art. I mean, it was so cute. And then he's like, it doesn't look real with the war one,
I know.
or not the war one. It
Yeah,
was
it
before
was like a
that.
Western kind of.
Yeah. And then he poked the holes,
I know, it was
and
brilliant.
everyone was like, how did you do that?
I know, it was so
It was
cute.
so cute because he really taught himself almost.
I know, and ironically, it almost feels fortunate that he was okay on some level. On other levels, not. But on some level, that he was in this time where the cameras really were.
Hmm.
I mean, not that they're not, but he had to use all this film. Like, this
Yeah.
is not some just electronic.
Right.
I'll bring this in somewhere later. Like, you know what I'm saying? He got to go through each film
Yeah.
and look at each, like, still, like,
Yeah.
all of them. And that
Hmm.
feels like, especially when you're young, that puts so much knowledge into your brain
Yeah.
about how, like breaking down
Yeah.
exactly what a movie is to its basic elements,
Hmm.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
like a self education, a
I
good
know.
one.
And it's so crazy that he was doing those films. I just like, obviously, he's 75, and I just never think about how old he is.
Hmm.
Not that if you're 75, you're like
Ancient.
ancient,
You're really not. That's not even that old.
but I was just thinking about like, I mean, his first movies, there was no audio except you'd put music
Oh,
behind it. And you know what I'm saying?
you
Just so much
know,
has changed that he's making crazy movies now.
mm,
And he has really flown like with the times, like he's
he did.
kept
He
up.
adapted.
And that's not easy for people to do
It's really not.
at
I mean,
all.
he deserves a lot of props. And like I was telling you the other day, so many of his movies are classics.
I
Like they're
know.
not just good movies. They're classics to the
A
general
ton of
public.
them. Like
Multiple classics. That's
almost every movie
fucking
that you
rare.
know
Yeah.
that's a classic.
What I was gonna say, I was gonna bring up though, did you think that the movie needed more music?
I understand what you're saying.
That stuck out to me for the first half, and then at some point I didn't care, I think I
Yeah.
just got used to it. But I don't know. I think it's because I was really craving a cinematic experience
Hmm.
because it's a movie on a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And
A lot of the music he liked to use was his mom's piano playing.
mhm,
And so I think, maybe he was trying to do it more like really authentic to what he felt like was his childhood, his upbringing.
yeah.
And so I don't know.
Um, this movie was so sweet.
It was the little monkey.
I know.
It was so cute.
I
It
know.
was so
And
cute.
you know how I told you that I was watching his documentary and his mom had said, "Yeah, we were at this store and they said he doesn't have his owner. He's so depressed, he's gonna
Hmm.
die." And so I brought him home and we had this monkey. I thought it was really interesting that there's all this backstory to
Right.
it, but you chose not to put
I
that in the
know.
movie. And that
I
makes
thought
me
that was
wonder, like,
interesting.
there's certain things that you almost personally don't care about this
Right.
backstory. This, like, I'm just gonna tell you, for me personally, what stuck out because there's clearly everything you've seen. There's more
Right.
complex things to it. There's more backstory to probably every scene we've seen
Hmm.
because they didn't even really explain the monkey, and you didn't even
I
really care
know.
because
It was
probably
only in
through
there for a little bit,
yeah,
honestly.
and probably through his eyes, it was like, yeah, we had this monkey. I didn't
To
really,
me, it's interesting because for obviously it's completely through his point of view. This is just
yes,
what he saw. And he kind of almost made it look like his mom was just so neurotic, so out of her mind. She just came home with a monkey
hmm
because she needed a laugh.
hmm
I
yeah,
mean, she said that in the movie.
yeah,
I needed a laugh. Well, in her eyes, she was saving this monkey.
I know.
And maybe she did need this monkey for her mental health too, but like he did really just show from his point of view.
hmm
He didn't make anyone specifically look terrible. I mean, a
Yeah,
few people, but you know what I mean.
yeah. Also, I just think it's a really like special movie in a way of feeling like really being invited to someone's life, like a real look at it.
Hmm.
Because even if me or you or like, I mean, anyone made a serious quality film on their life with their
Hmm.
siblings and their parents and all this, it would still be so cute. Like, there's something
Yeah.
really special about that, that you like
It's like you took
made
a home
this.
video and you made it like cinematic.
I
And
know.
I think that's precious.
It's precious. That's why I gave it a 9.
Yeah. I was kind of going based more off of like just a movie as a whole,
Nah.
taking emotions out of it.
I know. That's why I said logically, I'd give it like I think I said an 8.
Mhm.
But yeah, I thought it was really cute, which feels like some part of me is overhyping it.
Yeah.
Like because the way that I'm riding its dick, like I would assume if someone hadn't seen it, they'd think they're going into like,
Hmm.
oh my god, like what the fuck? Is like a
Yeah.
full 9 out of 10? And it was just simple and sweet that made it
It was
9 for
simple.
me.
It was simple and sweet. That is a good description. And yeah, I do think that it's cute. It's a really good um Christmas movie, like
Mm-hmm.
with the fam
Yeah.
to have on. I mean, there's nothing that's gonna like be too much for anyone. It's kind of mellow.
I
I guess
know.
some people could be like
It
triggered
almost
by
like could have
something,
been
but
rated PG. I don't know what it was rated, but nothing like happened, right?
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
maybe PG-13.
there was like some there was no nudity or like
Not even really swearing. There was a racial
PG
slur.
13.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it doesn't need to be R. And that's just a
Yeah,
fact.
I think it's a good like family movie.
I know.
It was so
It's like
cute.
watch it with your grandma or something.
I know. I still think that that scene was so cute when they were like, "What do you want for Hanukkah?" Isn't that what they said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, but he said two things. I'm trying to figure out which one. The train.
Yeah, when he saw the movie. And he was so scared of the movie
It was
and
so cute. It was so cute, and I thought it was so cool that I don't know why I thought this was cool, but their theaters back then that were, I mean, it's like fucking 150 people in here.
I know
Jesus Christ, you know?
100%. And they said they were going to play the organ at the beginning. And I thought it was so funny because just told you about that theater.
Yeah. But
um,
his first movie experience, I've listened to quite a few directors who've talked
mhm.
about their first movie experience and how much it affected them to the point of leading them down like this obsession of movies.
That's
Like,
so
and
crazy.
so I thought it was so interesting seeing his too, of your first time seeing a movie and you never you've never felt anything like this
Yeah,
before.
he was shook.
And also that like uncle, oh, her mom's brother, right? Yeah, so it was her
Hmm.
uncle. His messages, like, again, this guy, he was so briefly there, and
I
it
know.
felt like just so real from this
Yeah.
kid's perspective. He like stopped by one day, but these messages, which I don't know if he said them or not for real, but of, yeah, you love your family, of course you love your mom, your dad,
Hmm.
but I think you love movies more. Shut up. Like, no, I don't.
I know he got
It was
so
so
like
like,
triggered.
I know, but it was so fascinating. It was so interesting. And
Yeah.
he said quite a few things.
Oh, he did. I know. I think that he did take like realistic moments from his life
Mhm.
that were really, kind of life changing. Just small
Yeah.
things, everybody goes through. And
Uh
he put them in there because I'm sure that was a big moment for him. Obviously,
yeah.
he has never met this person.
And honestly, I'm sure too, because I'm sure other things also happened in his
Right.
life, but he obviously picked specific things. And I'm sure his grandmother passing and his mom
Hmm.
specifically, her grief was a huge moment in his life, especially being in that hospital room and watching
Right.
her die and his mom
And they showed
distraught
the
over.
heartbeat
Yeah.
stop. That was so intense.
It was so intense because it almost felt like for a moment his mom thought she had woken up
I know.
or
She
something.
did.
I know.
Oh, I know. Okay, but back to what I was saying.
Sorry.
Um, I just thought it was so cute how he got a little piece of the train and because he became so obsessed with the train
Yeah.
and then they put it together and then he snuck in there at night
He
and
got one for,
recreated the whole
I
movie
know. I know. And I
because he
thought
was
it
so
was so cute
obsessed.
that he got each train per day
I
of
know.
like his one gift, and by the end of it he had the whole
I
the
know.
whole train set.
And I think it was so just amazing of his mom because he would have just become probably obsessed with this train like thing and not
She
really known
knew.
why, but
I
she
know.
brought out this camera and she's like, "We're gonna videotape it for you so you can keep watching it over
Okay,
and over." And then I think that
what was the like, that whole they're like 15 minutes,
hmm
that whole shit that happened. Him seeing this movie, he is like speechless. And then going into his room at night, laying there. Oh my God, I know what I want. Like, mom, I
yeah,
want a train. Like, seriously, like you said,
yeah,
thinking like what I'm interested
hmm
is this train. And then all he cares about when this train is recreating this scene, and his mom, like you said, noticing, hey, we're gonna try this like
because the
camera.
thing is, and this is what I was thinking when I was watching it, most parents, especially these days, and I'm not trying to say that we're all really like sensitive and scared of our own children, but if you caught your kid, if you let them watch something and something traumatic happened on the screen
Mm,
and you saw them recreating it with their toys and like becoming obsessed with this traumatic scene that they just saw,
mm.
you would kind of be worried like
Yeah, like
this
were
is
they too young
this
to
is a
see
bad
that?
sign, like
Yeah,
they're
what does this
obsessed with this
mean?
like murder.
Yeah, this gruesome death, and then all the animals, like wild
Yeah.
animals, being let loose.
And like kept recreating. I don't know. You would just a lot of parents would not they would think it's really scary. Like, what did I do? And she was just like, just, I don't know. She had
Because
this
she was an
intuition or something.
artist, and so
She
she
knew
she knew
something.
exactly what twinkled in his little
Hmm.
eyeball when he saw that movie.
Which is so
Oh,
amazing.
another thing too is like this is again another inadvertent message that just happened. His mom's whole like almost like her whole existence in her being what you would call maybe neurotic or
Hmm.
chaotic or whatever you want to say. It was almost this like life she had that didn't happen because they had brought up a few times like she could have done this, she could have been this
Hmm.
famous pianist, this famous one. Like she was like that ever since she was a kid, playing notes like this and whatever. And she obviously never got that and had a very simple family, home,
Hmm.
wife like kind of life, and it wasn't fulfilling for her, like in some
Right.
extent. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And even at like in the midst of it, she would continue to play her piano
Hmm.
all the time, and even in her grief would like play
Hmm.
her. And it was like again this like it felt like this mom wanted this life that I don't know what happened or like what she chose or what I don't know because it
Well,
wasn't a movie on her life, but
the sister was talking to Sammy at kind of like when they announced they're going to get divorced. And she
Mhm.
was like, I don't know how you're being so basically hard on our mom. My dad treats her like bows down to her,
Mhm.
treats her like just worships her. But Benny, eye roll, makes her laugh. And like, she didn't want this life of just almost being worshipped. She wanted, I don't know, a laugh. That's what they kept trying to say throughout the movie, even with like the monkey, which obviously we know her story and
Yeah,
his
I
story, but I think that like that's particular. Like maybe she just didn't want the.
yeah, no, I mean I'm like let me make this clear that I'm confident she's happy that she had
Mhm.
her children and she
Yeah.
very clearly loved them. Um, I just meant like especially that almost intuition or eyesight to notice the artist in her child and cultivate it.
Right.
That seems like that's coming from someone who almost aspired to be that and didn't happen
Yeah.
and is able to cultivate this in now
Do
their
you
like
think
child.
that's why the uncle coming was kind of a big thing? Because he said, "Your mom is scared." She was an artist. He was an artist, remember? Because he said that
Yeah.
but he said he didn't like have the fear and she did,
Mm.
basically,
Really? He said that?
along those lines.
Hmm.
Because she had the dream before that her mom told her like something bad's gonna come, and she was so scared. She was like, "Something bad. He did something to her." Blah blah blah. She kind of had a lot of fear,
Um,
and
she was almost like teaching Sammy like don't be afraid like I was or something
yeah.
like that. Like just
And I
do it.
think the uncle, her uncle or whoever,
Mhm.
really was like, "Yeah, do not be scared. Go into your art."
Aw.
I just
I
feel like
need
all these moments, like if you go back and we talk about it, it just all of it really is so essential for his little movie.
no. And honestly, the only thing I wish is I had a Fabelmans part 2. Just like when you got to Jaws. Like I just want to see
Yeah,
literally that. A director's cut what happened up till Jaws and then I'll let it go.
I know
I
because
can
you
make
had
my own
told
assumptions
me
after that.
before we saw this, you had told me that when he went to go make Jaws, he did not have any clue what he was doing. And I
Mhm.
was like, how is this possible? Like, how do you just not know what you're doing when you go in to make Jaws? Like,
Yeah.
was not adding up to me, but This man clearly has some sort of talent. I mean, he's been doing this forever. Maybe
He
he's not doing anything serious, but
he
like,
put in, like, just to be honest, he put in his 10,000 hours. Like, he has
yeah,
been doing this since he was a kid. That adds up.
right.
I mean, you've definitely put
I
that
mean,
in.
you have such a base layer, at least, of some sort of knowledge. Even if you feel like you don't have knowledge, you don't know what you're doing.
It's so deep in you. I mean, you have had genuinely what feels like education since you
Yeah.
were able to comprehend what is happening.
Yeah. And then obviously a natural eye for like
Yeah.
this
I
type
mean,
of thing.
it was very clear that this is what he was meant to fucking do.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. Like, if someone's
100%.
gonna be 75 years old, still cranking out great movies, and most of your movies are classics for the past like
Right.
40 years, this is, I'm sure, the story of that person.
100%.